but
and
not
it's
widespread.
been hit and miss. Yeah, it's like, you know.
It hadn't. I looked, the coldest day of the year so far on record with the National Weather Service, which means here at the airport.
Right.
The coldest day on record so far is 37 degrees.
Was for this year.
Right.
For
now,
this,
which means up at my house it was about 33, 34.
Right.
Because I had ice on my window one morning.
If you're out in some of the outlying areas, the low areas.
But no freeze yet.
No, right. No.
And my dogs, we just gave them baths, just gave them flea treatments. And even with the flea treatments in the bath, because of how dry it's been, and there's been no freeze, the fleas are not there.
And that's
the fleas are not. The fleas are happy, and the dogs
are not. Right, and that's this time of year when when we're really dry, the fleas pop out.
Right.
But once the rain stops, the fleas go away and the mosquitoes start.
Right. So we need a hard freeze to get rid of them.
Or yeah, I don't even think that really gets rid of them. It just kind of slows them down.
Well, it makes fleas go dormant for a while.
Right, they go.
The hard freeze.
Settles down.
It doesn't kill the larvae and everything, but it kills whatever fleas are alive.
And especially if we get a little rain with that, it's
helps
just
a
we're
lot.
not getting. I guess we got a little bit of rain the other day.
When?
It gently rained, I think, at my house.
Yeah, it didn't rain a bit in the north part
I
of
think
town.
it rained in Bellevue and down there. North part of the
we
village
got
in
nothing.
Summerfield.
We got nothing.
Yeah. See, they got more than we did. I woke up. I did have a wet sidewalk. My car was wet more than heavy dew kind of thing. But, yeah, I didn't physically see it. But
it's been a while since we're 11 days into January. We're in the middle of January, and we still haven't had a freeze.
No,
we haven't even got 32 degrees, 31 degrees.
No, we haven't. There's not been need to cover tender plants, truly not any need to bring anything in, but it's still, we can't really get complacent on it. We still have that possibility. We still have that 6 good weeks of the possibility of, it's like 6 to 8 weeks.
It could freeze in March, early March.
It can. Our last expected frost date for Central Florida is the 15th of March.
Right, Ides of March.
Yeah, exactly. And we've had the March 13th storm.
So we're talking literally
8 weeks.
8 weeks from now, yeah.
It is a possibility. I have sort of a lightweight almanac here, and so unfortunately it doesn't list Florida as its own entity, which it is.
It lists as southeast.
It's southeast,
right.
Exactly. And so they really don't have much on mentioning with Florida for this month. Mostly what you're seeing is towards the end of the month is that we're still dry.
And it's not because the country's not cold.
No.
It's 6 degrees in Chicago this morning for a high. They expect a 6-degree high in Chicago.
And we know that the eastern seaboard and all the way
cold.
up is cold and snowy right now. They're very wet with the snow. We're still dry.
The jet stream just hadn't dipped low enough.
Right, we still have that high pressure system keeping us gorgeous, beautiful blue skies. High today is what, 65, 66.
Yeah.
Lows back down in the 40s. We're a little below seasonal, but that's a cold front.
Right.
So
supposed to be back in the low 70s and low 50s by the weekend.
Right. So this whole week is going to stay just there below season.
Right,
yeah,
and
right
then Sunday it's supposed to change again where it goes a little below season again.
And right, so we're experiencing winter now. I will say
you got on pants. We're experiencing winter.
Plus, I have a long sleeve shirt, a sweatshirt, and a fluffy vest.
You do.
It's cold out. I work outside.
I'm in flip flops, a pair of basketball shorts,
and you've got
a T-shirt with a
fan
blowing
on
me.
Yeah. He's
It's actually this fan actually creates more of an airflow, which creates more chance for me to get better oxygen with my heart condition now.
And
you don't want to have to do any mouth to mouth or anything in here.
CPR kind of thing. But no, next month it does mention the first part of February being brisk and unseasonably cold and freezing temperatures to Florida. So that may just
far
be
into Florida?
Right. That could just stay. Yeah, we know Panhandle has had frost and freezes.
Lake City.
Jacksonville, right, up into that northern part, Perry, all that lower Georgia, lower Alabama area might be as far, but still, that may still bring
my
us
sister in
down
Callahan, in Callahan, they've been below freezing twice this year.
Right. And
But
so
usually by this time of year,
they've
been below freezing 4, 5, 6 times.
Right. Yeah, once every other week kind of thing. Yeah, day or two. So we still are in that. It is still wintertime. People still look at me like I have two heads. Look at a calendar. Spring doesn't start
till March.
So it officially is still wintertime. We are still having short days, long nights, lower humidities, lower nighttime temperatures. Daytime temperatures have been gorgeous. Hey, this is why I live in Florida.
They still don't have double-digit below freezing in Atlanta yet this year.
Right. So
they've only been below 32 degrees 9 times in Atlanta this year. And winter usually starts in Atlanta early October.
Yeah. and that's and actually even the northeastern portion of the country, they really only got snow here come the first after Christmas into this new part of the year.
Thanksgiving, Christmas is always very mild.
Yeah. But this year it has been. Last couple of years they've actually been snowed.
They're worried about a superstorm though.
Yeah.
Coming this weekend.
Yeah.
They worry about one of those super bombs or whatever they call it.
Yeah, whatever they call that thing. Yeah, where it's
basically a winter hurricane.
Yeah. Accompanied by, and that's not a pleasant thing.
No.
I wouldn't want.
I wouldn't want 100 mile an hour, 105 mile an hour winds with snow.
No.
And remember how many inches of water make up an inch of snow.
Yeah. So that's a lot, especially when it begins to melt.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that. But because of the mildness, a lot of people have a false sense of security, I think, about their foliage.
Yeah, exactly. If with what happening this week, being cooler, not being detrimentally cold to your landscape, your plants will actually begin to acclimate a little bit. So if we have a couple weeks of this to where the temperatures, instead of being up into the 86, 87 degrees, we're back down into that 72 degree temperatures. Should we, if that can last for a few weeks, should we get a serious cold come February, less things will be damaged because they will have settled back down. They will have gone back into that dormancy.
I will tell you this.
They will have mellowed out a little bit and calmed down.
My guy comes every 2 weeks now to cut the grass. He came last Monday a week ago, and he mowed.
Yeah.
Friday or Saturday, I was like, man, if he's not coming this Monday, if this weather stays this way, when he comes back a week from now, it's going to be ridiculous. I was out there this morning. You hadn't seen any new. It looks just the way it did Friday. So,
right.
Because it's cooled off now, so the grass is because it jumped last week.
And we're not getting rain. Well, we had gotten some.
And it was 82 degrees.
Smidge of rain and things. Yeah, things too. But it's not like what happens in April, May.
No.
Through that.
Where 3 days later, it looks like he needs to come back out and cut.
Right. So it's just one of those things that take it easy on. Doing anything and actually just looking through. Yeah, everybody loves an almanac, even though this one's not quite as big and fancy.
And the poor azaleas don't know what the hell's going on.
No, that's true.
The poor azaleas don't know what the hell's going on.
But nowadays we have there's so many different varieties. There are some that do bloom right now.
Mine aren't those, and they're blooming right now.
Yeah.
I got the old big bush azaleas with the big pink azaleas and all, and the big white ones, and they're starting to bud because they don't know what the hell's going on.
Budding is okay because they begin. It's middle of January.
Right.
The buds come on.
Yeah, but some of them, these are some of the big buds where they're going to open.
They're getting ready
within the next week or so.
Yeah, they might be a little bit early, but you know what? Hey, maybe you'll have had your bloom before the rains happen and knock them all off of there anyway.
Well, and now will azaleas rebloom?
Only some varieties.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, only some varieties. But we usually we talk about waiting on doing any pruning and things like that until we've had some cold weather, and going through the almanac again, and this one is again very generalized because it's not for Florida, but even these the best days to do things kind of
Saturdays and Sundays.
Well, no, it's the days you're off usually, but looking into February because they said pruning trees.
Okay, so first off. Call it what it is, February ugly.
It is February ugly. I do refer to
Let's
it
call
as that.
it.
Customers look at me funny going, did she say that right?
Yeah,
But yes,
you
it's
said it right.
February.
You
It's
said it right.
February. Is like the end of the month. And I don't know what's wrong with the 23rd and 24th of February, but it's the 21st and 22nd and 25th and 26th of February are four of your best days, two different ones, for pruning trees.
Well, that means the 23rd and 24th is going to be bitterly cold, is what it means.
It could be, or that, yeah. It has to do with the moon signs,
Right.
usually, but why just 2 days in
Just 2
between? I
days,
don't
yeah.
get it. And why the 27th and 28th wouldn't be good as well. But so we're still looking at the end of February,
1st of March to start pruning.
to do that kind of stuff. Yeah, and that's not removing dead limbs. If you got your tree
No, that's
guy,
cutting back.
If you got your tree guy, you're gonna make a call because you saw some stuff last year that needs to come out, and you finally got him coming. Because you want to do it now while he's slow.
Get that done. We're not talking about
yeah.
pruning live
We're
trees.
not. Yeah, we're not. You're gonna wait till the azaleas bloom.
Right.
Before you prune those.
But cut the dead out of any trees you have.
You can cut the dead out of anything, right? at any time, and the wild shoot that shoots up and is hanging over the sidewalk, or you see out here the hedges here. You can see they finally put about 4 inches of growth on since they pruned them. When was it?
2 months ago. Two and a half
3 months ago.
Yeah.
And there's a couple shoots that are a little high.
They're growing much slower than they did in the summertime.
Right.
You can tell that.
But on those couple little high shoots, if this was at my house, I might go out there with my hand snippers and go clip, clip, clip. It's about 6 pieces.
Yeah.
It's not pruning them.
No.
It's just removing something that doesn't quite match up to the rest of the height. So, that kind of stuff, you can do that at any time. I'm going to make some suggestions. If you are getting out and doing that, wear your sunglasses or safety glasses.
We'll talk about why you're saying that in a moment. But let's take this phone call real quick. Good morning. You're on with Master Gardener Carolyn Baldwin.
Oh, hey. I guess
morning.
it's me.
Yeah. Yep, that's you.
Hey, name's Tom. Live here in Ocala.
Uh-huh.
A couple unusual questions.
Okay.
Have a place up north. Brought some wildflowers with me, seeds.
Uh-huh.
And northern wildflowers, and grew a lot of foxglove. Will that grow down here?
It will for a short season. It's not.
They're biannual.
Yeah.
They're biannual, so that's the problem.
Right.
I think.
And I think so too. Is that when our summers hit on some of the more northern type plants, the amount of rain, the high humidity, and the temperatures that just stay consistently 92 degrees or
and
whatever.
Our summer hits the last week of March.
Well, no, summer doesn't hit until April or May, but that's spring in March.
So it might be iffy. I've heard some of the gardeners say that they had to grow them down here, but I just
it's one
iffy,
of those.
I guess.
It's iffy. It would be one of those things. I think I would try to start them in containers versus trying to start them just out in the garden, just direct seeding.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Do that first. And another real odd question, which I really haven't gotten a good answer for.
Okay.
Are Boston ferns edible?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay. Chickens like them.
Well, that's a little different. I mean, animals can eat things. I know is that I've gotten the dried up pieces of Boston fern accidentally in the mouth, and it'll make you choke. So, not for human consumption. I mean, if the birds are, if chickens are munching on them, and if they're in the landscape, it's probably not a Boston fern. It might be, one of the other, because Boston ferns is usually we put in a hanging basket.
When we moved in here, it was 10 little, poor looking little Boston ferns. I felt sorry for them.
Uh-huh.
So I put a little fertilizer on them. We have an acre and a quarter. Felt sorry for them, water them a little bit. I now have an acre and a quarter of Boston ferns.
Yeah, it's not Boston fern.
10 plants.
It's not Boston fern.
Oh, okay.
No, there's some native.
The,
there's native ferns that look very much like Boston fern, and then there's the sword fern. I think it's a sword that is actually very similar. Kimberly queen fern. They're not truly the Boston fern. The Boston fern is one, and of course you can't see it unless if we're up on YouTube. Is I'm making hand gestures. Is one that we put in a hanging basket because it'll come up and it'll
crepe
come
myrtle
over.
almost. Yeah.
It'll fall over. It'll look like a ball when it's in a hanging basket almost. Because it'll get nice and fluffy. Yeah, it's got nice and fluffy. The other one sort of stands straight up.
This one's straight up, anywhere from a foot to 2.5 feet.
That's definitely a sword fern.
Yeah, that's more of a sword fern. Either one of the native ferns or somebody's planted.
And they're like kudzu in Florida. If
you
you let them grow, they'll go.
Yeah, they will. And you must have a nice shaded. Yeah, just start. And when you pull them out, you'll notice the baubles all on the ground. You got to pick those up. Yeah, you got to pick them up too. Because that's what'll keep them going.
Finally, I've asked so many people, and so many people, I guess, obviously don't know. I know Bertie, Gertie, and Willie, the 3 geese, didn't want to eat them.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if the chickens are going through, they're not going to spread them any. I mean, they may be picking off a grasshopper or something off of them. You never know. A little hidden insect. But yeah, if they're overtaken,
chickens are.
You know what else likes those balls? Pigs like those balls.
Pigs. Yep. Okay, so you can bring a pig in.
Pigs will root them out. They'll dig them up themselves, just like kudzu. They think it's a delicacy.
Oh my goodness! Hey, real quick, because I don't want to take up a lot of time.
No
this
problem.
is for Tom.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about AFib, your heart.
Yep.
What do they do to correct that?
Well, they gave me a cardio version, which is they did a low-level shock to shock it back into that sinus rhythm. 5 years ago, that was effective. They did it again 2.5 weeks ago. It lasted 4 days. So now we're back with the cardiovascular team trying to come up with a different plan.
Look at it, cardio ablation
cardio ablation or pacemaker or what I'm hearing.
AFib,
Right. Well, lightning will do it also. I had an incident.
Well, and I play. By the way, I play a lot of golf, so I'm out there where lightning can get me.
Stick your golf cart in the your golf club up in the air.
Yeah, golf club up in the air.
And I tell people all the time, I'm too ornery to die early, so I could get struck by lightning, probably live to be 120.
Well, give it a try. Anyhow, I'll leave you with this. I listened to that football game last night. It was quite interesting. That was a good one.
It was a good game. Thank you for the call,
Thanks
Tom.
for calling,
hey,
Tom.
great name, by the way. Great name, by the way. I like the name.
Yeah, very good. Very, very good. Very good one.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks for calling. Yep.
Thanks so much.
That's a good call.
That was a good call. Very good call. Thanks for calling, Tom.
And
hope you're now a regular. If you have a place up north, I hope you're just maybe a new resident, new caller to the show. Appreciate it.
But that sword fern, you're right.
Yeah,
it looks a lot like the Boston fern.
It does.
But it grows straight up. My mom she hated it.
Oh,
it would take over the yard. And she'd say Fern Day. And that meant, oh God, we're going to be out there pulling ferns out of the ground.
Oh yeah, and I do. I had where I'm living, it had a lot of ferns, and it had. When my daughter first moved in, she didn't have a mower or anything, and the way the yard was, you saw a lot of roots, a lot of rocks, so it was like, I'm not bringing a mower in here until I've walked the whole property. And I still keep a can of spray marking paint, and I walk the yard like a couple days before I'm going to mow, and I mark everything I don't want to run over.
Right.
And I did the whole yard with a string, with a weed whip. Mm-hmm. And it was 3 foot tall ferns,
right?
But I needed to get them down to see what was there, and so now I control them with the lawnmower.
All of our ferns were out. We had a bamboo backyard.
Ooh, that's
where the bamboo was our privacy fence.
Right.
But that bamboo would grow out of control, and the ferns, because of the shade and everything, would grow out of control. So you would have to 3-4 times a year we'd go out there. Fern Bamboo Day.
Yeah. The bamboo's got to be the worst. Yeah,
back-breaking.
Yeah, because the ferns, because I have a really nice rock that I like, and the ferns like to grow up around in that area. So it's, I like a couple of them there, so I clean it out.
What are the ferns that grow that you see, they're fern-like, I don't even know if they are ferns, but they're fern-like that you see grow in live oaks and stuff like that.
Oh, the resurrection fern?
Is that the resurrection fern?
That grows like up on top, and
right.
you see them, they'll be dead.
It's a parasite for the tree, right?
No, it's not, because it'll grow on your roof. on the edge of the roof and things like that in shaded location. The one they call resurrection fern, you'll see, and this time of year it probably is just dried up.
Yeah, it's brown and nasty.
Brown. Wet it.
It'll green right back up.
It'll green right back up.
And it takes over live oaks. You'll see it all over live oaks.
You'll see it, but it's not hurting it. It is just living in the dirt and that debris.
That's got in between the bark.
Yeah, between the cracks. Yeah, that's why it lives on roofs. Okay. And that is just that little bit of dirt on the asphalt or on the fascia boards and things like that. How
long has DeLeon Springs in that area been the fern capital of the world? I mean, I didn't even know that ferns were that big a deal. And then I moved here, and we're the fern capital of the world's about an hour away.
Volusia County, part of Lake and Volusia County. I've lived in Florida since 1982.
And it's always ferns.
As far as I know, they've always had the ferns.
Who the hell wants ferns?
It's in the floral industry. Is what they're grown for.
Oh,
it's for the florist.
For florists, that's right. Ferns go in with baby breaths and everything.
All the different floral arrangements, and probably 95% of it probably comes out of Florida.
Yeah, because nobody I know wants ferns in their yard. They want them in hanging baskets.
It depends. People like the foxtail ferns. There are some people that like the big macho ferns, the holly ferns that are they're definitely different. If you have a shaded area, it's hard to get something going there. I'm not a huge fan of ferns. I have the sword fern in the yard. That's the only one. I didn't plant them. Yeah, I don't like how they take. And I have, like you say, a potted one in a hanging basket, but that's a rabbit's foot fern, which is a lot of fun. More like the houseplant ferns, potted ferns. Some people like those big ones because I guess it gives a more natural look, but
so's palmetto bushes, but I ain't growing any of them.
See, now I like the saw palmettos and the little ones, but I don't have any because that's not what is native in my area.
You know why I don't like them?
Because they're
palmetto bugs.
Palmetto bugs getting anything. I had the biggest palmetto bug you never did see in my house.
I had a palmetto bug one day. Took almost up the back of my hand.
This bugger was about that big. He was scary.
Yeah. And people say, "Oh, look at that big cockroach." Yeah, if it's that big, it's a palmetto.
They're in the same family.
Right.
He doesn't want to be inside, but guess what? You're gonna die because I can't get you scooped and thrown out the door.
No, you're gonna get stepped on, or my cat's gonna have fun with you. My cat loves palmetto bugs.
I wish my cat would, but then they smell.
She just slams them with her paws and everything. She doesn't chew on them or anything, and she does it out. She doesn't bring them in the house.
Oh, okay.
We got to take a break.
Okay.
We come back more with Master Gardener Carolyn Baldwin. You're listening to In the Garden on Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source. That is In the Garden with Carolyn Baldwin. We'll be back for the second half of that. In the Garden. Just after this brief timeout, Carolyn is not in studio today. She is not with us. She had some situations she had to take care of, so she'll be back next week with In the Garden with Carolyn Baldwin. We'll be right back after this short timeout. You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Today, USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Scores of Honduran police officers on Monday surrounded the home of former President Juan Orlando Hernandez. After the United States asked the government to arrest and extradite him, the complaint alleges election fraud and drug trafficking. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau invoked emergency powers Monday to stop the paralyzing protests by truckers and Canadian citizens demanding an end to the vaccine mandate. Trudeau outlined plans to tow away their rigs and strike at their bank accounts.
The blockades are harming our economy and endangering public safety. Critical supply chains have been disrupted. This is hurting workers who rely on these jobs to feed their families.
Jet Propulsion Laboratory experts say a derelict booster rocket, which will hit the moon's surface on March 4th, was built by Beijing and not by SpaceX. We are USA Radio News.
The greatest radio shows of all time.
Frank Sinatra as Rocky Fortune.
Classic radio theater.
Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
The story of Dr. Kildare.
The Pepsodent Show, starring Bob Hope.
The greatest radio shows of all time. Classic radio theater with Wyatt Cox. On this radio station or wherever podcasts are served, just by searching for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, a veterinarian physician and founder of Youngevity, and I want to talk about kidney failure and high blood pressure. Kidney failure and high blood pressure are due to artery disease in the kidneys, not caused by cholesterol, but by eating fried foods and processed meats and oils and glutens. You gotta give up all those bad foods and take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Take our program, which we call the Ultimate Daily Classic Tablets. Take 3 of those twice a day per 100 pounds of body weight. That'll support healthy blood pressure and healthy blood flow through blocked arteries. And people who have not urinated in 10 years are on dialysis 6 days a week. After 2
a pillow
We don't need to tell you, you already know it. Inflation is all around us, but not at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. Bob Wine's is holding its prices, still using the same price tags as last year and the year before. You want proof? Bob's famous dwarf ever-blooming red ruffle azaleas, he sold thousands at $3.99, and today they're still $3.99. Bob's own sun and shade-loving heirloom camellias, they sold last year for $19.99 in the number 1 size, and they're still selling for just $19.99. And listen to this, Bob Wines is selling citrus bushes, lemon, lime, and Persian lime for just $24.99. That's less than last year. Check this week's ad at bobwinescamelliagardens.net or in the paper for a huge list of inflation-busting deals this week at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. And don't miss this year's fabulous Camellia Show Spectacular. We'll see you this week at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens.
Dad's service to our country is something we're so proud of. He made a difference and set a great example. Now it's our turn to honor the sacrifices he made for our family and this country. As veteran specialists, Hires Baxley Funeral Service helps us celebrate Dad's life and can help you too. Hires Baxley is here for you during your time of need or when planning for the future. For more information, call 352-484-0891 or visit hiresbaxley.com/choice.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hey there, I have a question for you. Is your roof asphalt and does it look like it needs replacement? Did you get quotes and were you in sticker shock? Would you like to save not hundreds, but thousands of dollars? Did you call RoofMax? Well, call RoofMax with their patent-pending technology, which can add years to your roof without needing to replace it. And it's easy. You just pick up the phone for a free quote. Plus, they use state-of-the-art satellite technology to measure your roof. So, if your roof is over 7 years old, then you should call RoofMax today at 352-639-2777. That's 352-639-2777.
Now back with more Best of Carolyn Baldwin in the Garden. That's right. It's Master Gardener Carolyn Baldwin with In the Garden. Carolyn, let's go right to the phone lines.
Right,
good morning. You're on with Master Gardener Carolyn Baldwin.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, good morning, Hugh.
I was taking the doggy for a walk the other day, and I seen 2 robins. Now, is that a good sign for us, or is that a bad sign?
Well, the robins are coming back. I mean, they always do, but
yeah,
I don't know if that's a little early or not. It could be they they just now escaped, up north. It got cold, on them. So, it's snowing. It's like, oh, heck, we missed that flight. It might have been their flight got canceled a couple weeks ago or something that, they couldn't get a flight down here.
Yeah, when I had my other house in Silver Springs a couple winters back, if I had 20 and I had 30 robins in my backyard, I couldn't believe it. I called the wife to the window. I said, look at this, and I've never seen that many since. It's been very. In fact, I think for the last couple of years I haven't seen any robins, and this is the first time now. So I don't know. Does that indicate that it is really a heavy winter up north, and they're moving south?
I don't know. It could just be that they that the berries are more prolific now this year, or that the food source started to get a little slim up there. But I mean, they had a late winter up there as well.
Right.
New York and places like that were in the mid 50s just a few weeks ago. Even into the low 60s. So now they're sucked in with the snow. But it's just a matter of they make it here. Sometimes you see them early. Some people don't actually see them for a while, and I think part of it is the berries that they're coming down for. I would not suggest hanging out any sheets or towels on the clothesline from now until they've passed through, only because they seem to have great big targets on them. I never seem to fail. Anytime the robins were around, they aimed for the freshly laundered sheets hanging on a clothesline.
Well, I never heard of that. Yeah, that's unusual.
They never seem to fail. I could hang them out before they came in and hang them out after, but when the robins were there, you didn't want to hang out the sheets.
I was going to say, Rob, I know from up north now, all those years living up there, robins are basically worm eaters. And I suppose when there's snow on the ground, they ain't going to get the worms. But a question I got too is, for many years I did a lot of fishing up north, and we always got night crawlers for fishing. And I've never seen a night crawler down here. Is it because of the sandy soil?
Probably.
We got red wigglers.
Yeah, we got the red wigglers. I mean, if you've got a compost bin or something like that, or you got a nice pile of leaf litter and things like that, you can keep yourself some going in those areas. But yeah, we have the red wiggler.
Yeah. I was going to say real quick here, with my lawn, I got a nice patch of lawn in front of my home here, and it's been taken over by clover lately, and it's nice and green. And it looks good. And what do you think is going on there?
It just had a chance. The grass slowed down and growing, and the clover is trying to take over. You might want to. I probably wouldn't do it this week, only because putting anything down when it's this cool is actually kind of ineffective, as well as it can actually burn the turf grass. But say if we next time we warm up good, you might go ahead and just get a herbicide for lawns and knock the clover out, or just realize it's green, you can mow it. When it unless there's a within your neighborhood, if there's certain regulations on lawn quality, you can do the green. If it's green, mow it. If not, I would wait till it's we've warmed back up again, get past this winter burst here, and treat it for with a weed killer for lawns.
Yeah, I know down the block there's a property that has almost solid clover, and to me it looks good all year round. And I'm kind of thinking maybe just let the clover be clover. And
it's a wonderful ground cover. It's a great ground cover.
Cuts nice.
It mows nice. The flowers are bee friendly. So, you might want to just go ahead and let it take over. Because it's not a real high ground cover. You can mow across it and keep other weeds at bay and let the clover take over.
Yeah. All I know is that it's got a nice green color right now.
Yeah. Hey, if it's green, mow it. That's the way I always dealt. Yeah. Okay, very good. Thank you, and stay warm, I guess.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks for the call, Hugh.
I want to go over the weather. We've talked about it. Today is the coldest day for the East Coast of the year, but they say temperatures will rebound quickly the rest of the week. High temperatures forecast for New York and Boston today, 22 degrees and 12 degrees, but with the wind chill, 35 below is what it'll feel like.
And
you
I
know
know
how fast
today,
that wind's got to be going to make 12 degrees minus 35?
Yeah. And we, too, are supposed to be having the winds as well.
Well, you say that today, sunny with high temperatures, about 65 degrees, 11-mile-an-hour northeast wind.
which is chilly.
Yeah, mostly clear tonight. Low temperature around 45 and northeast wind about 9 miles an hour. Tomorrow is going to be mostly sunny. High temperature around 68, but the wind's down. It's only 6 miles per hour tomorrow. Then Wednesday night, mostly cloudy with a 20% chance of showers. Low temperatures in the mid-40s. Thursday, sunny with a high temperature around 65. So a little bit of cold front moves back in.
Yeah.
Mostly clear with a low temperature of 38 Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
Friday is sunny with a high temperature around 66. Friday night, low of 42. And then this Saturday and Sunday, we rebound back into the 70s.
Well, but it's funny because what I'm looking at is Sunday night. Sunday, they're going with a 72% chance of rain and a high of 58.
Right.
So that next cold front.
And then Monday, it gets cold again.
Yeah. Well, looks like Sunday night into Monday. Right. Yeah, that's probably going to be our coldest so far this calendar year because it's looking like 34.
33, 34 is what they got it forecast here.
So
with a high around 66.
Yeah. So, I mean, the high, and our highs this time of year are usually about 71, 72 degrees. So it's a little bit below normal. So here we are now getting winter. January and February are winter in Florida. We don't, November, December, you get hit and miss. So, I mean,
all week it looks like it's going to be, and starting next week, it's going to be in the mid-60s.
Right.
The only day it's going to be 70 degrees is Sunday early.
And then I think it's going to drop off.
And that's Saturday night, early Sunday morning. They say it's going to be
our high might be overnight.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but that's where we're supposed to be right now.
It's I mean, it's a little below seasonal, but we'll be okay. We will get through it.
I got a question.
Yeah.
About compost.
Okay.
You know where this question comes from. Her shop is right next to the commissary kitchen.
Right.
On Magnolia, right next to across from Yandel.
Right.
So there's a lot of extras that come out of there.
Oh yeah.
And the guy had a big bag of rotten spinach that was beyond use.
Right.
And he had a big flat of 2.5 dozen eggs with just the shells.
Just the shells, right.
And Susan said, although she knows you say chop the shells, crunch them up and everything.
Bust them up, yeah.
But because shells are protein,
the shells are more calcium.
And you don't put meat and everything in there. How are shells okay?
The shells are actually calcium. The egg is the protein.
Okay.
The shell is just the calcium. So that's fine. I do let them dry before I break. Let them dry.
They sit out on the kitchen counter
till
I go, okay, these stink now. They got to go.
Run them through the blender, the coffee grinder, whatever.
So she does.
And you don't even have to do that. I mean, that makes it to
where
they're very fine. Or you take it, just crunch them up. It helps them to break down. It does add calcium back into the soil. If you had chickens, I'd say you could even throw them back into the chicken feed. Yes, they will eat them, and no, that's not cannibalism. It's they need the calcium to make good strong eggshells. So, you can put them in tomatoes, when you're going to plant tomato plants, even pepper plants, things like that. Grind that all up, mix it with your coffee grounds and that, add it to potted plants. In the compost, you may still find some eggshell if it's bigger pieces when everything else is broken down, just because the calcium may not break down quite as quickly. But that's okay. Just break them up a little further and they'll be fine.
Well, a lot of composting going on at my house.
That's cool. So she's going to have nice, healthy soil.
Well, she's got to do something. She's got to arch her field dirt. She's got to turn into real dirt.
Yep.
And what she actually is going to do is she's following your lead. She's getting all this dirt with the compost.
Right.
But she's still going to go get enough to put about 1.5 inches or 2 inches of good black dirt on there.
Right.
Probably go get some manure or something.
Get some cow manure, or some commercially produced compost.
And then she's got the compost underneath it, so she'll have 1.5, 2 inches of good dirt. And then when she goes to turn it all up,
it's all gonna It's all gonna mix in there. It's all gonna be good dirt.
Because that fill dirt's useless.
Oh yeah.
Once you get to that white sugar sand, that white sugar is useless.
Yeah.
But she's dug down in there into that white sand and put the compost all down in there.
And
so it will turn that dirt.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. I used to help a lady with her landscape up in Oak. And she had, you couldn't put your hand trowel in her soil anywhere and not come up with earthworms. Is how wonderful her soil was. And that was just working with it over the time that she lived there, that every time she, when she did her bed, she added fresh manures and things, not fresh, but new manure, in when she would plant a bed of flowers and things like that. And each time, and she didn't do heavy backbreaking, turn it all over with a spade. It was moreover put down, raked smooth,
right.
And then as you dig your holes, it mixes it in.
Well, you talk about getting worms and everything. My granddaddy, when I would go up to Jersey and stuff, they would have big cattle tubs, the water tubs for cattle that they had turned into worm beds.
Into vermiculture.
Right.
Yeah.
And they would have worms.
Oh, well, that was
You could
and that's how they raise worms for the bait industry.
And he would save,
as well
my
as
granddaddy would save take-out Chinese boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Then he would go out and fill them up, and that's what we'd take to go fishing when I was a little kid.
Yep, exactly.
He's like, I ain't paying nobody for crickets and worms. I do it myself.
Yeah, raise them myself. That's it. And then you got great worm tea from you steep some of that compost that they've made up, and you can water the garden and your houseplants with that. We touched on something very vaguely when I was talking about pruning.
We're talking about pruning.
We're talking about pruning. We're just talking about being out in the yard.
Carolyn, by the way, who punched you in the eye?
Yeah, nobody. It was. I think it was a Sansevieria poked me in the eye. Yeah, poked me in the eye. I got a nice bloodshot eye. It's not black and blue.
Where were your safety goggles?
They were on top of my head. Yeah, it's a good place for my sunglasses. Were on top. But then again, I was undercover, so with the sunglasses, I might not have been able to see real well. Straightening out.
How well
can
you see now?
It's okay. It's just bloodshot. It happened day before yesterday. So, but no, when you're out, when you're doing your pruning, when you're mowing your grass, when you're running the weed whip, wear your sunglasses, wear some safety glasses, wear your gloves. I never used to garden with gloves until I encountered fire ants. Yes. Gloves, it's weird. It doesn't prevent fire ants, obviously, but you can somehow know they're present before they get all the way up your arm. I'm also a fan of doing long sleeves.
Yes.
I don't care when it's 95 degrees out there. Our proper weight or very lightweight cotton woven shirts, it helps to prevent you from getting scratched, scraped, poked.
And you can get the UV shirts and all that are very
I
cool.
wear the UV shirts. You can soak the sleeves down. It lowers your body temperature. You can go to the Goodwill and get a couple men's button-up just cotton shirts, just a weave, not a regular like cotton t-shirt,
but a thin dress shirt,
just a thin dress shirt where you can pull that on. You can keep it as your one if you happen to be needing to spray even your organic sprays. You don't really want to get that all over yourself when you're reaching in the middle of your plants and spraying a fungicide or an insecticide around. This is something you can take off, hang out in the garden, rinse off.
The guy I don't understand is and my lawn guys all come in jeans and everything.
Yeah.
The guys I never understand, how are you out weed whacking
in flip-flops
and shorts?
Yeah.
Because that's even the grass and the sticks and all hit me. Yeah.
And it turns you green.
Yeah.
You turn green. And actually, if you noticed, even before the corona stuff, your commercial lawn guys wore masks.
Oh, yeah.
And that's because of the dust and the dirt and the debris flying up and hitting you in the face. So just protects you from the sun, protects you from the debris. Garden with safety in mind. Your gloves are
When I lived on the 4 acres off 80th, which is right at the very end of the Roberts property, World Aquatic Center.
Yeah.
It was a horse farm.
Yeah.
A 3.5 acre small horse farm, and it was Bahia.
Right.
You get out there on that zero turn.
Yeah.
You get out there on that zero turn, and you don't have a mask on, and you don't have glasses. That
dust
dry,
cloud. Dust cloud coming.
I would literally take it off, and my face would be white.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You get in the shower, and dirt would just run. Yeah. So it is very imperative for breathing purposes.
Right. Just being careful. Like I said, I got poked in the eye. And I also that same day, and I'm not sure because I was at work. What I got into because I was doing some prep to do some counts. So I'm moving plant pots all over the garden center, and next thing you know, I am itchy. So I'm like, I don't know what it was. So I went, washed off my arms, had some cortisone cream, put some on. It's like, okay, it settled it down. But I got home that night, had to take an allergy tablet.
Still don't know what you got into.
Still don't know what I actually got into because I'm going through and it's like, nothing. I know lantana will make you itch, loropetalum will make you itch, and it was like I wasn't in any of those.
You weren't dealing with poison sumac, poison ivy, or poison oak.
Exactly, I was in potted plants. So one of those things, and I was wearing short sleeves that day.
You know how lucky I am.
Yeah.
You know, with all the ailments I have with the heart and everything. You know something that I'm one of those lucky people
that don't get poison ivy.
I can roll around in poison ivy.
Just be careful. After a while, sometimes you can't.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't done it in a while.
Right.
But when I was a kid, I used to do it as a parlor trick. I'd think, and I'd go roll around in it. Everybody be like, don't mess with Tom.
Don't hug him now because you'll get it off
Don't mess with Tom.
Yeah.
Tom could go lay in poison ivy and never get itchy or anything. And just some people, the oiliness of your skin and all won't allow it.
Right. There's just some things. I know. I used to be very allergic to poison sumac. Luckily, my understanding is we don't have poison sumac.
We don't have it
in
in Florida. No.
I am
very
sensitive
seldom we
to
have poison oak.
ivy. Yeah.
Very seldom we have poison oak.
I am sensitive to poison ivy, but not as sensitive as I was to the sumac.
And I am always amazed when I tell people, watch out, there's poison ivy. How could you tell?
Leaves of 3.
Yeah. It's 3 leaves.
3 leaves, yep.
Well, I thought it was always a pot leaf. No, that's 5 leaves.
That's 5 leaves, yeah.
It's 3 leaves.
Yeah.
If you put 2 more leaves on it, it would look a lot like that.
I was going to say, 2 more leaves, it's Virginia creeper and an annoying vine.
Right.
But, when I found out where my poison ivy was, it was actually I was cutting back jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
Confederate jasmine,
and it loves to grow in there.
And it was in it, and I'm going through and I'm cutting all of that off that fence, and then the next, and then after I was in it, I was oh wow.
You look like Doug from those Liberty commercials when he get bit by the spider.
Yeah, no. Luckily, I wasn't that bad. I had it on the arm, had it on the leg, little spot on my belly where it scratched. The vine came across and got me. But other than that, I wasn't quite as bad as that. The sumac used to do that to me.
Sumac, I got in some bad sumac. See, I was allergic to it.
Yeah, the poison
I got some bad
sumac,
sumac up in Jersey. That was not good.
And that's where I grew up. Was that? Yeah,
not good.
Used to play in the woods and come home with
poison ivy's never bothered me.
Yeah. So,
but I'm lucky. But you don't know now with my physiological changes and all, it
all
could.
kinds of things can happen. That's right. So we always do a little caution. But so seriously though, watch out. And many of our houseplants, anything with a white milky sap. Can cause contact dermatitis because it's a latex type thing. So if you're allergic to latex, again,
Benadryl helps with it.
Benadryl helps with it, but Benadryl will make you sleepy.
Calamine lotion.
The calamine. Going in and washing, if you have an oatmeal soap or something like that, that's going to help to take that off. Any other home remedies that you know of that helps
My
you
grandma,
really
when I got in that sumac, she took steel cut oats. And wet them,
and rubbed
just pasted it on my arms.
Yeah.
And it helped.
Yeah, because
it didn't help a lot because it was sumac, but it helped.
But it helped, yeah. And then you just bathe in calamine for days.
Oh, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I had it all on my legs and my arms.
Yeah, sometimes you have to go to the doctor and get the cortisone shot.
Yeah, I had it on the leg. No, there was no doctor. There was no doctor. The New Jersey farm. There was no doctor.
Yeah, I used to get it where it's like, okay, the big ugly glasses. Yeah. My dad, it's like, here, take these. It's like, yeah, thank you. Yeah, because it would swell the eyes shut.
So what happens if we really don't experience February ugly like we usually do? Is it going to make that big? That means spring will, when everything jumps, everything will jump exponentially. Then,
it's apt to, that things haven't, and the thing is that some stuff, if we don't get, I won't say we need to have freezes, but if we don't have that cold weather, sometimes things won't bloom.
Right.
Especially those that do depend on the cooler weather, the dormancy. You might not get the bloom, or you might not get as nice of a bloom. You may not get fruit on some of the plants that need that certain amount of cold hours in order to bloom and then set fruit. But other than that, we may see an increase in insect activity, maybe an increase in some weeds that pop up earlier just because germination
dandelions may show up early.
Yeah, they may show up early. Yeah, the different things that would have had a more longer dormancy may start to germinate. Crabgrass,
You know how I was thinking about this the other day, how you gauge as a master gardener when spring springs and everything.
Right.
I've used one that I know it's warm and it's not going to get cold again. Whenever the bahia shows up.
Oh, it's starting to set its
when the seed pods show up. Once that seed pod shows up, because bahia goes dormant.
Yeah.
Just like Bermuda does.
Right.
And so once that seed pod shows up, I know the bahia is ready to grow again.
Yeah.
And once it's ready to grow, once bahia is ready to grow again, and it's not going to get cold again.
And soon as your Bermuda starts to green up,
the bahia wants to grow again.
Yeah.
Right through the Bermuda. Right through the Bermuda.
Right through anything. Yep.
Although if you get a good bahia grass,
and one thing
it'll tear up blades, but it's a good grass.
Yeah. You have to have a sharp blade on your mower. Very low maintenance. Just it's an easy grass.
Very little water needed.
The only problem is without water, it will turn brown.
Right.
But as soon as it rains, it greens right back up. You can reseed over it on a regular basis, and it's hardy. It is a grass. It's not going to die out. It doesn't have singe bugs. It can get mole crickets. Can be a problem with it.
It's pasture grass. It'll grow.
It is a pasture grass. It will grow here. It'll grow well here. So long as you don't have an HOA that requires you to have a specific type of grass, or that your grass must stay green throughout the year, you're okay. Yeah.
I had a guy email me about a week ago, and I ran across the email again. He goes, and I looked at the email again. He goes, ask Carol Ann, I'm a bent grass guy from where I live up north. Is there any chance I could get bent grass to survive here at all?
Yeah.
There's no way bent grass will survive. Not in this heat.
No, and people want to do a fescue also, and it's like, read fescue. When is the germination temperature? It's between 50 and 60 degrees.
We're there in February.
Yeah, and then it doesn't like it over 75.
And we stay over 90 9 months a year.
So
fescue is for Scotland and Ireland.
And yeah. I mean, it'll grow. It grows in Georgia and Alabama.
But fescue grows. The reason I said Scotland and Ireland is fescue's on all the golf courses.
Yeah,
it's the rough on golf courses.
Right. So when somebody, and I actually have had people go, my lawn guy said get this and had the bag. I said, where did he come from?
Yeah.
Well, he's from Georgia.
Well, there you go. Carol Ann, speaking of where you're from, where can people find you?
They can find me. I'm heading to work after this down there at Lowe's and Lady Lake and on the In the Garden Facebook group page.
Carolyn Baldwin joins us every week. Master Gardener Carolyn Baldwin. Talk to you next week.
Yep.
We'll be back after this timeout. That was the best of Master Gardener Carolyn Baldwin. She was not able to join us today, but she'll be back next week for In the Garden with Master Gardener Carolyn Baldwin. We're going to take a break. Come back. It's going to be a best of Matt Gibbs, Sunrise Auto. Matt's took a few vacation days. He's not even in the country, but we'll have a best of Matt Gibbs from December 23rd of last year, right before Christmas. We'll have that next. You're listening to Ocala Talks on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. It says WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
As Russia continues to posture against their Ukrainian neighbor, U.S. and U.K. leaders have said not all hope is lost for a diplomatic solution to the crisis, but warn the situation remains fragile. In a 40-minute phone call, President Biden and Prime Minister Johnson agreed a deal was still possible despite warnings of imminent Russian military action. Russia's foreign minister said yesterday diplomacy was far from exhausted. Former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe on new revelations in the John Durham investigation. The probe has uncovered evidence that Hillary Clinton's campaign paid to have Trump campaign servers and then the presidential servers spied upon.
I would expect there to be, frankly, quite a few more indictments. I think this conspiracy, and I do think there was a criminal conspiracy, is broad and deep.
Thanks for listening. It's well appreciated. We are USA Radio News.
You need an accurate thermometer to check for fever, a potential sign of flu or COVID. Be vigilant and contact your medical provider at the first sign of fever. Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer has been proven accurate in more than 100 clinical studies. Exergen Temporal Scanners are available at Walmart and other fine retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com. That's EXERGEN.com. Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
The greatest radio shows of all time.
Frank Sinatra as Rocky Fortune.
Classic radio theater.
Matt Dillon, United